Hi, my name's Shawn Taylor. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame. And welcome to Avatar The Last Podcasters. Today we're going to be talking about Book 4 Balance, Chapter 5, The Battle of Zaofu. Zaofu? Zaofu, not Zaofu. I think, but Julie, that's a ZH, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, Zaofu. And very exciting episode, but as always, before we get there, Chris, how you doing? What you been up to?
I am good, like God with an extra O,
Nice.
as Kanye West would say, even though I'm not the biggest. He needs some help right now, I think.
He probably does.
Not important.
Leave Pete Davidson alone.
Yeah, like what the heck? He's just, like, it's not his fault.
Pete is a gift. Do you think maybe Kanye hasn't watched the Diner Lobster sketch yet? You know, maybe he doesn't appreciate what Pete Davidson brings to people.
I don't get Pete Davidson must be like a really nice guy or really funny because he gets a lot of like famous women.
In the words of Terry Crews, he pulls.
Yeah, he pulls. He pulls, Jake.
He pulls.
Yeah.
But he also seems like, okay, even outside of women and relations in that way, like, he just always seems like he has cool friends and people, like, have you ever heard a bad thing said about Pete Davidson?
No, it's true.
I'm sure part of it have, but I have not heard them.
And part of Kanye's beef, now he's beef, so there's a rapper named Kid Cudi. I don't know who Kid Cudi is, probably not.
Nope.
So, y'all still know who Bootsy Collins is. Did we talk about that on the show, or were we just talking before the show?
I think we were just talking about... Before the show, Chris and I like to talk about Smush music. What is the actor's name? I can't think of his name now. Think of me when you smush. And I can't think of his name. He's Daryl. He's
the Pontiac Bandit.
Doug Judy. He's Daryl. He's in the Pizza Hut commercials.
Dang it.
I can't think of his name.
I can't think of it.
Anyway, he's in a lot of comedies, and he's always great. Think of me when you smush. The Pontiac Bandit, though, might be his best work.
His work as Daryl is pretty good.
I do like Daryl. Yeah. I like Daryl. I don't like The Office as much as most people.
I think it's overrated.
Same. Please don't hurt us.
I'll go back to the Kid Cudi thing in a minute. But my favorite thing in Daryl... So they're taking an office vote on if Hillary Swank was hot or not. And then it's all tied up, and Daryl goes in and casts the deciding vote and then decide that Hillary Swank is hot. And then Andy is like, I don't think his vote should count. Like he's in the factory, in the warehouse. And then the way Andy words it, he sounds racist, right?
That sounds right.
And then Daryl's like, how about if my vote counted 3/5? And then Andy's like, that's agreeable. And it's like, I just found that funny.
I hate Andy.
Kid Cudi. Yeah, I liked him for the first couple seasons he was on. I thought he was pretty good. But then there was that season where he became the boss, and then
he was good as the annoying, like, douche bro character. I can agree with that, but listen, I still do like The Office. I don't think I ever have any intentions of rewatching it.
I kind of want to rewatch parts of. I don't want to rewatch like the Pam and Jim centric episodes because those are really good.
That was the opposite. I got no love for those episodes.
And I kind of want to watch some Parks and Rec. I'm just like...
See, I would rewatch Parks and Rec up to the last season any day.
I'm pretty sure I have not... I think I've only seen probably half the episodes of Parks and Rec. It wasn't something that I followed religiously. It was just like, oh, this is on, and I'm entertained. So I know there's going to be some episodes new to me. Anyway.
I prefer Parks and Rec for sure up to the last season, whereas The Office, even when I do like it, like once, I really don't enjoy it as much once Michael Scott's character is gone. I really do. care for it much less at that point.
Yeah.
Cliche,
This
but
is
it's the truth.
yeah. This isn't really important about the Kid Cudi Kanye West thing, but
Oh yeah, that's where we're.
Kanye West kind of I want to say he discovered Kid Cudi, but he helped him out. Like, and Kid Cudi helps Kanye out. Like, they're close friends. Like, they're both from no, Kid Cudi's from Cleveland, Kanye's from Chicago, but Kid Cudi is like good friends with Pete Davidson, and like Kid Cudi didn't get in. He didn't say anything, but he still hangs out with Pete Davidson, and Kanye was like, Cudi's not going to be on my new album because he hangs out with you know who. It's like what the heck? And then like, and Kid Cudi was like, listen, I'm like one of your best things on your last albums, which he is. Like I love Kid Cudi makes some really great. Well, not all of his albums are great, but his first album, Man on the Moon, I think is like one of the best storytelling albums ever. Like it's probably my top 5 albums of all time.
High
But
praise.
he makes music that's like really kind of want to say therapeutic. Like he talks about his own like issues and emotions and stuff like that. That really isn't seen that much in rap artists. But anyway,
I think the thing about Kanye though is that like even it feels like a few years ago, and we're all like that guy's crazy, and then we just didn't hear much about him for a while, and then like the divorce and this mess, and it comes back up. It's like that guy's crazy, and then we just I don't know. It feels like it kind of dies and goes away after the while when the guy probably like legit needs like serious long term help. I think probably.
no, I
I'm
think it
not a
really does.
psychiatrist, but
I'm not usually that type of person who likes to go straight to mental illness stuff with people. Because like with the stuff with Antonio Brown, people want to bring up mental illness. I'm like, no, maybe he's just a jerk. Like maybe he's just an a-hole. I mean, like I don't want to put mental illness on people because that one thing puts a negative light on people who actually do deal
yeah,
with
you don't
mental
want to
illness.
belittle. We've had this type before. You don't want to like belittle a real
Yeah,
ailment
yeah,
to and the
like
people who actually suffer from it just because of this one
yeah,
person we look at on public television and be like, that guy's nuts.
yeah. I do think Kanye West has some. I mean, he talks about taking some medications and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, but I do
Kanye,
think he could probably use
get
some
better and leave
therapy.
Pete Davidson alone.
Yeah. Long story short, leave Pete Davidson, specifically Pete Davidson alone.
I want the lobster.
Anyway,
It's on the menu. If I can't order it, don't put it. Why is it on the menu?
things I don't even really like Pete Davidson on SNL. Like honestly, I don't. I've never seen some of him in it and thought he is like the driving force behind me laughing hysterically at this. He's always, solid, but
He's a side character in good pieces.
he's always like the side
That's
character.
believable.
In fact, I don't think I've ever really seen a skit where he like lead because people lead the skits in a certain way.
I'd like to know
I don't think he does.
which ones he's contributed from a creative standpoint. That would be interesting to
Is he a
see.
writer?
I don't know.
Okay.
Uh, I know the writing room at SNL is a little different in how the contributions come in, but I would be willing to bet he's probably contributed some skit ideas and developments.
Yeah. Anyway, that's your celebrity talk.
That's the celebrity updates with Shawn and Chris, and it's a very
Yeah.
specific set of celebrities. Don't come to us for celebrity advice. Anyway, Chris, I just wanted to make a real quick note before we jump to the episode. First of all, I've been playing Pokemon Arceus, and if you're complaining about the graphics, you're being ridiculous, because it's a Pokemon game, so you gotta get over that. It is a very good Pokemon game, maybe one of my favorite ever, but I do hate, and I'm not the only one, the redundance of like what the Pokedex and like what your tasks are for like how many Pokemon it's encouraging you to catch of the same type and all that stuff. That part does kind of piss me off. But for just the functional gameplay and get over the graphics because it's a Pokemon game, it's excellent. So if you like Pokemon, go try Arceus. Also, this episode will come out on like the Saturday morning of my charity event. And just because the charity event is over, if by the time you're listening to this, most likely, you can still go make a donation to Just Food, which is the Lawrence, Kansas food pantry. And that would be really cool because they need all the help they can get. So, Just Food, Lawrence, Kansas. That's where the charity fundraiser's from. Original Rules basketball, pick up basketball. And yeah, or donate to your local food pantry. Basically every relatively major city has probably got one, if not more, pantries, I would have to
and
imagine.
they
And if you're
and they
not
all
sure,
need
start by looking
food.
up harvesters, and that'll probably get you where you need to go.
Yeah. Go donate food and also donate blood.
Donate food. Donate blood. You,
Yeah, I just
blood remakes
thing is
itself. Listen,
there is a blood shortage right now. And when I feel bad, like I was supposed to donate blood 2 weeks ago, but my voice has been like this, and so I feel like I don't feel like I'm sick. I feel like they're gonna think I'm sick,
you don't
and
want to like
then
cause that grief and anxiety on other people. Like that guy's got COVID
yeah.
right over there.
Um, fun Black History fact for you. So Charles Drew, yes. Do you know who Charles Drew is, Shawn?
Nope. I'm about to learn
Okay, it's
legit.
okay.
Like I have no idea where you're heading with this.
Um, so, so for Black History Month at my job, I'm part of a committee, and we built this pop-up Black History Museum of different inventors, also Brown versus Board stuff that we put in our lobby. And so I had to do a bunch of research on stuff. But so I came across Charles Drew. Charles Drew was he invented the way we donate blood today in separating the stuff I can't
Plasma
explain, the
from
plasma,
platelets or
platelets, stuff like
whatever.
that. So he invented that process, which
Okay.
made blood donations, it made being able to store blood a lot longer. Before it was only like a week or something. Now you can do it like 3 or 4 weeks, which saved thousands of lives. He would do this in World War II, and so help, yeah, save thousands of lives. And he was the head of the American Red Cross for the longest time. Interesting enough, for the longest time, American Red Cross didn't allow Black people to donate blood, and then they allowed Black people to donate blood, and then they're like, "Oh no, we're going to segregate the blood." And he was like, "There's no reason to segregate blood only by blood type. Like that's the only
You
way."
segregate it
He,
based on science, and that's okay.
yeah, um, and so and he ended up resigning, kind of in protest of that. But I just found it so interesting because I was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be donating blood," and now I'm like I'm weirdly passionate about donating blood. I don't know why. Maybe because it's
Your
something that
body makes it. Like you don't really even have to work. You
yeah,
just gotta go take a nap and eat some food, which two of our
yeah.
favorite
Oh,
things, I would think.
taking a nap is very frowned upon. I tried that one time. They're like, "Nope, we need your eyes open.
Oh,
We
not
need to
no,
see
sorry, not
that."
during. I mean, to recuperate and regenerate the
Oh,
blood that you have
okay.
donated, you get to just sleep and eat food, right? That's like half of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I don't know how to
Um,
get you over your fears of needles. I'm not a therapist, but if you can find a way to get yourself to do it once and see that it's not so bad, if you got a needles fear,
yeah.
find a way to do it once.
I think for some reason I'm passionate about donating blood because I'm O positive, and so like my blood can be donated to anybody, and then also and also my blood is. I've never picked up a certain infection or disease that most people have picked up, and so my blood is able to be donated to babies as
Oh,
well.
nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
interesting.
CVS, something like that.
Oh, that's crazy. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, donate blood. It's funny because right now I'm watching What We Do in the Shadows, which is the one about the vampires. And
yeah,
so
I've
it's
heard good
Chris,
things.
your blood is very desirable, but by not vampires, by actual humans.
Yeah.
Hey, long
But no, I
story
just
short.
found that interesting. Like, just history comes around, and it's always and Black history in general. Like, there's so many things that Black people invented in America that we kind of take for granted today that are used in everyday lives. And I just really found that interesting that I was like supposed to donate blood at that point in time, and I was reading about this person. Things just kind of line up. It's not like I'm related to that guy or anything. That would be amazing,
That would
but
be
no,
pretty
I'm not
cool.
related to him. Yeah,
Can you imagine
unfortunately, I'm
being
not.
like a racist white person on your deathbed because you needed blood and they're about to put it in you and you're like,
Yeah.
what color person is that from? It's like, sir, it's the only blood we have. You want it or not? You shouldn't hesitate when you answer that question, sir.
Yeah.
I don't under. Okay. Anyway, that's
Don't know how we got on this subject, but
no,
there
no.
you
We were
go. Your
talking
Black
about
History
donating
fact.
and charitable
That's right.
contributions of
That's right.
food
Sure.
and blood. And yeah, go. You know what? Yeah, if you don't want to donate to our local food pantry, or don't want to donate food because it costs money out of your pocket, you know what doesn't cost you money directly is donating your own blood. And you know, if you donate
That's true.
plasma, they'll give you money.
That is true. I don't donate plasma. I only donate like whole blood cells, which takes like
Chris
2 hours of
donates.
my time. And
Chris donates the whole milk of blood. That's it. None of the skim.
yeah,
I wonder
yeah.
why is plasma affect like maybe
Uh,
plasma is not dependent on blood type.
well, the only
I don't know.
the only people that I'm not entirely sure those places where you can get paid because I can donate plasma at like a community blood center,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't because it's just
It's
I can
big
only
in
donate
it's
so
like big
much.
in college towns.
Like
Like if you go to Lawrence, I know
yes,
exactly the place where you can go to donate
yeah. I knew
your
a guy in
plasma.
college who was like, "I'm gonna buy me a new TV. I just gotta donate blood 4 more times." I'm
And
like,
you're
oh,
like,
okay.
all right, that's okay, cool. Go on, go for it, man.
That reminds me, talking about the office we talked about before. There's an episode of Jan. She was having her baby shower, and Jan she got uh, a sperm donation. Yeah,
Yes.
and then Kevin was like, "So Jan, where?" it's he was like, "So Jan, you got a donation, right? Where was it at?" She was like, "Oh, it's a very high profile place called some place." It's like, "Was it this place by the shopping center?" She's like, "How do you know?" It's like, "I donate there also." And he's like, "Wait, what if I'm the father?" And then,
And his
and then
stupid smile on his face, which is
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. And then he was like, "I had sex with Jan," but he did like it's not. And also, he's probably not the father. Maybe if he was the father, he's not. He's so dumb.
I know, but
But
it was Kevin's one of my bright spots on there. I like most Kevin stuff.
yeah.
The chili meme more than the episode. The episode makes me sad, but the memes with the chili, yeah, like the actual episode's depressing. You're like, oh, all that chili, what a waste. But hey,
Mm.
Chris, fun fact: we actually have an episode to cover. Let's talk about the
Fun fact.
episode. This one's called "The Battle of Zaofu," and it's chapter 6.
No, it's actually. So I was just thinking about this. It's called the Battle of Zaofu, and I was like, why is it not called the Battle for Zaofu?
I feel like all battle
Just
names always are of, but I feel like they just as well could
that
be
is that's
for.
true. The Battle of
Yeah, but no,
Gettysburg.
your
The
question is
Battle.
still valid. It's like, well, why? Why is it not for? No, that's a good question. But
Well, okay. So the battle. I think I get the battle. I would have called this the Battle for Zaofu, but I get why the Battle of Gettysburg is called the Battle of Gettysburg because you're not battling for Gettysburg. It's just the battle takes place in Gettysburg, but here they are battling for Zaofu.
can you imagine if they're having a battle like if in like a field, like in the plains somewhere, right? Just like in an open area, and it doesn't have a name, and they're just like, it's the battle of over there,
Battle of Wheat
the
Plains.
battle of Jim's pasture.
What's your name, farmer guy?
Gee.
Name's Huckleberry. No, we're not calling this a battle of
No, we gotta
Huckleberry.
find a guy with a shorter name and fight in that guy's pasture instead.
Yeah.
Something that rolls off the tongue better.
Do you mind taking this battle? Thing is, they're pretty. Like the first battle in Civil War was like, if I remember my history correctly, was like weirdly spectral. Like people would like line up in their picnic and
Specs
was watching the
spectated.
and watched it. Yeah.
It's like,
Not that it was
well they
like,
call it a civil war, so surely nothing uncivilized will happen. Let's just
yeah.
grab our popcorn and sit over here. I don't.
Anyway,
I can't think
battle.
of the name of what you're talking about, but I understand like that. I'm familiar with what you're translating.
Yeah, like women would like come out with like on a hill, I guess, and watch the battle from a safer distance. But like
That
that's
sounds
weird.
terrifying. Why would you
Uh,
not interested?
anyway, we open up the episode with Suyin and her sons doing some nice family bonding, I think, and about to go try and take out Kuvira. And I don't think they're coming here to going to Kuvira to like assassinate Kuvira
No,
because even when they
incapacitate at
get
best.
yeah, because some people are like they're like oh she tried to kill me or like oh Suyin was about to kill Kuvira. that would be a lot. Like that's her adopted daughter. Like it would, Kuvira would have had to like kill somebody for her to be like, all right, this is my last resort. And also, they wrap up with Julie, who's there. It's not like if they're really trying to kill Kuvira, they would have just killed Julie on accident. But instead, they wrapped her up because clearly they're just trying to take her captive. Anyway, it's a trap, and Kuvira ends up capturing them all. And then, yeah, not that much happens there. Oh, then she goes on the speaker, on the loudspeaker, tells everyone like, "Hey," she's playing this political game of putting all the blame on Suyin. Kuvira's like, Suyin tried to attack me in the middle of the night like a thief, essentially. Like, and now she'll be, captured if your leaders don't come and and give over Zaofu to me. Like, I'll kill him or whatever. I don't know.
Word
She didn't say
coward
that,
comes
but
out several times.
yeah. Um. So interesting enough, this moment for some reason reminds me. One thing you should watch Attack on Titan. But there's a moment in the previous episode, the most newest episode, where this one person is talking to everyone, and everyone can hear that person talking. It's like an intercom. I can't explain it without spoiling it, but anyway, watch Attack on Titan. It might be the best. I have Avatar bias. I really do. I think it's the greatest story ever told. Attack on Titan is going to be top three. And if I ever watch Attack on Titan, like it will never. I would never consider it better. Probably than Avatar. Avatar has different storytelling things to it.
I started, it
But
just didn't pull me in. It didn't hook me. It was too dark or too,
oh, it's very dark.
and I just that's
How
not my
far did you
jam.
get?
And what's that?
How far did you get?
3 episodes maybe.
Oh gosh, no, that's not enough.
It wasn't hooking me at
Uh,
all. I just dark
yeah.
stuff. Man.
It's
Life's dark
dark,
enough
but
already. I don't need more of that.
there's a really good twist
Is a
that
twist comedic? Because that's what that show needs.
no, but there's a moment in the season two where I'm like, this is like one of the greatest moments in television history because it's so. All right, spoilers for Attack on Titan because I'm gonna explain that because it's just if you haven't seen Attack on Titan, fast forward 5 minutes. I will promise you I will not go over 5 minutes. For about 3 minutes. Anyway, so so in Attack on Titan, right? Have you seen the big armored Titan and the big
Uh-huh.
giant Titan, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And you're
And
probably
also
wondering like
just
what the
like
heck?
even from what I haven't watched, just familiar enough from pop culture.
Yeah. Well, so uh whatever, you don't care about spoilers. So
Yeah.
there's a there is you find out that some of the Titans are actual people inside. Like some of them, like Aaron, the main character, can eventually turn into a Titan himself. And then you find out that like, oh well, this other person can turn into a Titan. So there's this one person, these two guys who've been helping Aaron out. And at one point, the guy comes up to Aaron. He's like, "Hey, I'm the armor Titan, and I'm the giant Titan. Like we came 5 years ago." And they say it so casually, and you're caught off guard as like these two people. They've been fighting. Like these are the two responsible, essentially, for Aaron's mom dying, for all these hundreds, thousands of people dying, and they just say it so casually. And you're like, "What the heck is going on?" It's one of the greatest moments in in uh, in television history.
I don't
Anyway,
know. Life's. I mean, it sounds really cool, but just life's dark enough.
it's a it's a dark. The thing is, the show's so dark that it makes me question my own morality.
I don't want
Like,
that, Chris.
like I'm a terrible person because I would commit genocide if I was in Aaron's place.
I
Like,
don't need that kind of thought in my life right now.
like I didn't know that I was capable of such a thing.
But
But
note to self: Chris is maybe genocidal. No, I don't. I think realistically, no. No. It's just I need my lessons to come in a lighthearted format, and I can usually take it from there to apply it to semi-depressing real life.
I mean, Attack on Titan there's a lot of lows. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really interesting story. Really good. Anyway,
Someday on like a full empty Saturday, I will give it another shot for like 5 episodes. If it can't pull me at like 5 episodes, that sounds like enough to me. That
yeah,
sounds like
okay.
too far. What's the right number of episodes or like the right number of minutes? Well, I'll draw a line. I'll be like,
Let's see. So far, I've watched 3 episodes of Psych. So let's see.
3 episodes feels like if they're representative is about enough. I would say Attack on Titan I should give more grace because 3 episodes at the beginning of something, that's not, if you think about the first 3 episodes of Avatar, that's not enough to
Yeah.
really
No.
establish what you're going for. So I think a show with a real story like that, I should give more than
Honestly, I
three
think
episodes of
Avatar
grace.
takes probably 10 episodes to be like,
Yeah, and I would whereas
hey, you
Psych
gotta
being
finish
a
watching this.
Psych being basically pure comedy, and even then skipping out the first episodes, like you pretty much got the gist of the show at 3. I think that's fair. That's not a shot at Psych. I
Yeah.
love Psych, but I think that's a fair representation.
Yeah.
I'll give it
Anyway,
like
back
five
to the Battle of
episodes.
Zafu.
Battle of Zafu.
Uh, so, Batard Jr. is gonna make Varric continue his work on the spirit vines, and Varric is like, "Well, I need Bolin. I need an assistant. You know, 'cause, this other guy. If he wants to keep his hands, he shouldn't work with me." And this is really good. Varric, like thinking, this is Varric at his best. Like he's wacky, but he's thinking on the fly. He's able to like outsmart people. He wasn't working in his mode of operation in previous seasons.
It's hands-on genius
Yes.
as opposed to just planning and science.
Um. So then, let's just talk about that B plot with the Varric. Continue that on the way, and then we'll get to the A plot. So Varric continues to work on the spirit vines. And he tells Bolin to do the thing, and Bolin's like, what are you talking? What thing?" He's like, "I never had to tell Julie what thing to do when I told her to do that thing." He's like, "I'm not Julie." Um,
It breaks my heart when he in this episode thinking about Julie.
yeah. And then Varric is like building a bomb, essentially. And then he builds the bomb, and then like he then tells Attar Jr. like, "Hey, you all gotta get off this train or I'm gonna blow us up." Like that build a bomb has a 5-minute timer on it. And then like the back and forth between Varric and Attar Jr. is like one of my favorite Varric moments. Because Attar Jr. he's like trying to make sense of things. He's being the logical one. Because he's like, why would you have a you don't need a timer. Like if you're really he's like, all right, we'll just take you then. And then Varric is like, nope, I got a trigger.
Got a
And
remote.
it's like that trigger doesn't I got a remote trigger. And Batar's like, why would you need a timer then if you have a trigger already? It was like, well, I build a timer first. And I thought to myself, well, you then might just take me. Well, then I'll build a trigger. And then by that point, I was like, well, what do I really need a timer then?
It's beside the point.
Yeah.
It's
That was
such a
just
good
a
rant.
really, yes, really, really good rant. And then he goes off like, oh yeah, I'm blowing this thing up. Like, they're going to write in the history books about Julie. Like, did you hear the story about that guy who got Julie? Yeah, I heard he Varric'd himself.
I forgot he
Really
said
good
that.
stuff. Yeah, so he ends up actually not bluffing at all. So all the people gets off the train, and then he tells Bolin like, nope, this is actually gonna blow up. And then Bolin gets him off the train, and the train ends up blowing up. And then it's so weird. Batar's eyes are like pop eyes, like not Popeye's chicken. Like the eyes are like popped out. It's kind of weirdly animated, and he's just like, that guy was crazy. Like, and he thinks they're both dead now, but
Which is a stupid thing to double tap, man. Don't
oh yeah, always double tap.
always
Like,
double tap. And I don't
I
even.
always think about like if someone broke into my house, I am beating them up to a certain point where I'm just like, I'm certain that they're not getting up. Like I just just
Me and
keep
Heather
hitting.
always say that like there's too often in movies and stuff where you're holding the gun at somebody, like at the bad guy, and you got him, and then something gives them a chance to get away. I was like, I'm probably gonna be really cruel, but like I'm just gonna shoot their legs right away
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just
before I start
I
talking.
think the same thing. Just
I'm
one
not.
shot to the thigh, probably to the kneecap on accident. I heard that
Yeah.
hurts.
I'm not trying to Shawn
Like,
Taylor him or anything. I just want to actually like incapacitate them, and so and that's not Shawn
yeah,
Taylor, like my favorite football player ever. Um, but like do that and then do your monologue whatever thing you gotta talk because they're
yeah.
not going anywhere now.
Like you've at least placed yourself in a position where you don't have to worry about making
And they,
a more deadly decision or costly,
or worse, yeah. And you'd think that
yeah,
if
or
they
worse.
think you're
Like the
bluffing after you shot their kneecaps with no warning, I think they're gonna take you pretty serious at that point
yeah.
because you're probably the one with the cell phone. That's Chris
Yeah, I always
Jones'
think just
introduction to home invasion.
just shooting the thigh, and then yeah. And also, like, if you've now wounded them a lot, and even if for some reason I don't know, you don't want to shoot them again, you've now wounded them.
Yeah,
Like, are they going to run up to you now? Like, I
no.
don't know how it feels to get shot in the leg, but I assume you don't really want to move that much after getting a shot.
Not to mention, I feel like you can justify it in your conscience of like, listen, that person was in my house late at night uninvited. I can't swear they were gonna hurt me, but it felt like a relatively safe bet. I feel like my
Yeah,
conscience could handle a kneecap shot.
yeah. And also, yeah, you shoot someone in the leg, they're fine.
Yeah,
So,
they'll get over
especially in the thigh, shit might go straight through.
it. Everything from
And that's why,
celebrity gossip to
like,
home invasion.
yeah. Also, like, if you made a mistake, hey, they just been shot. You laugh about it years from now
You,
if it's someone you
they
knew.
broke into your
Also, they shouldn't have been.
house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? I guess it didn't even
Well,
have to be late at night. They came into my house uninvited and I'm working from home. I'll probably still have the same reaction. Like, what are you
yeah.
doing?
I'm
Ring
just
the
saying.
doorbell.
Sometimes you hear those random stories about someone
Like a
breaking
surprise
into the house
party
of someone
gone
they
wrong or some
knew.
crap like that.
Yeah,
Well, the real lesson here is that surprise parties suck.
yeah.
I like my parties
Um.
planned and I buy my own presents. Thank you.
Okay, back to Battle for
Zaofu.
Zafu. Okay, so that's pretty much the
It's
the
been a
B
terrible
plot with
tangent
Varric.
episode.
That's pretty much the B plot with Varric and Bolin. Really good stuff there. On to the main part of the story, really. Korra has to fight. She tries to reason with. Um, she tries to reason with Kuvira, and like they're at an impasse, right? It's like Kuvira's like, I'm not backing down. We'll have to fight. And then the thing I like here is that Kuvira is a good leader in a certain way because she's like, listen, I won't ask anything of you guys that I can't do myself. I'm gonna fight the Avatar one on one, which is really bold. But also, she knows that in my head, Kuvira, right when she saw Korra, sized her up. You know, same way that like Zuko sized up Azula before they're at Kai. Sized her up and could tell like she's off her game.
I
Like
mean,
she's in
she
these disheveled clothes. She probably looks like she weighs a little less. Like she hasn't been upkeeping her body. Like she's probably like, I'm sure I could take her on. And even if I can't, even if I lose, I got this big army behind me.
she is intentionally animated to look just like haggard at
Yeah.
the moment.
While Kuvira is animated to look like pristine, on top of her game.
There is not a misplaced hair or anything on Kavira's head.
Yeah. So then, and everyone's like, Korra, just go into the Avatar state. And Korra's, one thing, I don't like this advice, because this is like the worst advice. Because the Avatar state should only be used in case of a last resort emergency, because it's not meant to be nerve, and you're running the risk of dying in the Avatar state. And anyone who knows that is like Korra, and because Korra has, risked losing. She has lost all connections to Rava into the past lives. So she's like, nah, I'm only going to do it when I actually absolutely need to. Yeah. So I do like this fight, even though Korra gets her butt whooped a lot. I like the fight because one thing, it's choreographed pretty well. Um, Especially like the moves itself. I think it's a pretty long range fight. I feel like you don't see that too often, where both uh, the fighters are like just kind of shooting things at each other, but it's still shooting things at each other, but still feels tactful.
I don't know if I do like it or I don't like it. I think it's just an observation that even without that like odd Avatar state hesitation, that feels like it was sort of the immediate cause of Korra losing, quote unquote. But that not the root cause. Like I still feel like it was clear that Kuvira was gonna find a way to win. I said I don't know if I do or don't like that so much as an observation. It's like it didn't even feel like she was gonna make it to the Avatar state fully and put up a good fight one way or the other, I guess.
I don't know.
Or like it didn't feel like she was gonna make it there at any point, and then there's the weird hesitation that feels like it was the direct or the immediate cause of her losing the fight. But
yeah, the thing I like about this fight is that she does some moves that are very similar to her fight with Zahir when she was chained up. The thing though, in that fight, like I would take that Korra that was chained up over this Korra like any time. Like that Korra was still doing moves, she was still very combative, and she was chained up, and you can tell Korra is not 100% still. Like she's still very rough. She's still unsure of herself. Her moves are somewhat stagnant or project. Project is not the word I'm looking for. But dang, I still can't think of the word. I feel like it's gonna noticeable. Kuvira can tell like what move she's gonna land. But I like the fight. And then Korra goes into the Avatar
like
state.
Just being a step ahead.
Huh?
Like just how she's sort of predicting, just being a step ahead.
Yeah, choreographed, not the word I'm looking for. Telegraphed. Her moves are telegraphed. That's what I'm looking for.
Gotcha.
And so then Korra goes in the Avatar state, and she can kind of easily win the fight, but then she has a PTSD. She sees herself in Kuvira, which is kind of the whole story about Kuvira is the antagonist this season, because she is kind of a mirror image of Korra. You'll see this imagery kind of all throughout the season, especially at the end there, which is really interesting. It's a really good way to show how far Korra has come, in that like she was a lot more like Kuvira in season 1 and part season 2 than she is now.
I can agree with that.
Anyway, she then gets out of Avatar state, and then like Kuvira's like about to kill Korra, essentially. Which is, I feel like she's about to kill Korra. Like she turns her blades into like sharp blades.
I didn't even consider it. Would she kill Korra? I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't.
It feels like it's within her realm of personality, but it feels like she wouldn't
Would
kill the Avatar. I
That's
don't
a good
know.
question.
Huh.
She seems like she has intent to kill, just from the like. I thought she could just wound Korra very much.
She just kneecap her
Maybe
like
she's
she's a
not.
home invader or something, you know?
Exactly. Just yeah. um. Oh, so then uh, Opal and Janora saves her, which this is a really great use of airbending. The thing I love about airbending is that it's to me it's like the best defensive bending there is. Like wind just compounds on top of each other, sort of like fire in a way, but fire is maybe it's like the best offense, right? Because it can just grow and grow on
like
itself,
like
but in an offensive manner.
if you add a certain amount of rock to a certain amount of rock, you just have the sum of those rocks. But if you add a
Exactly.
certain
Yeah.
amount of fire to a certain amount of fire, it feels like you get greater than the sum of the parts. And the same with
Yes.
air, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the case. I mean, you see that with tornadoes sometimes, right? Like
Yeah,
you have a
it
you have like
exacerbates itself or compounds.
yeah
Yeah, you had the right word.
yeah.
I agree. Makes
Um.
sense.
So it's really cool to see them creating this freaking tornado, and then they created it so much. It's so big to a point where even Opal can kind of keep it going by herself. Like she wouldn't have been able to create that by herself, but she can probably keep it going by herself while Janora uh, does some spirit stuff. Also, I just want to highlight just how freaking great Avatar is at uh, representation for women because these are like four characters out on the floor right now, all women, and they're all like just BAs in their own rights, and like I've never seen this in any other show before where women are just as strong as the men are, just as important, just as
Especially
much
in this
as main
season. I mean, you got your
characters.
protagonist, your antagonist, and then even a lot of your side characters
Oh
with
yeah, this season,
Suyin,
yeah,
Opal, Julie. Like this is a like woman power season right here.
no, yeah, it really is. Like Bowen and then you have the incompetent president and incompetent Prince Wu as men. Not that we need to down men to uplift women. I mean, I don't care if you men have gotten too many props. But I often think that I think part of the reason why, like, I don't know, I have a pretty good appreciation for like uh, uh, representation of women and things is that I grew up with like I had a weird upbringing in a sense that I grew up with like four older sisters. I only had two boy cousins out of like I don't know 20 something cousins, and so I just always had strong women. Not that other people can't feel that way, but just me personally, I think that's what's kind of
I mean,
driven
mine's
at
the
like
opposite in the sense of like it's a boy-centric family and a like old-fashioned family family. Both those things, right, lend themselves to the
yeah.
male things. But I think I just identified for most of my life. I love my dad. My dad's great, but I identified with my mom. I was much more like my mom. I just got a
Oh,
sense
okay.
of the like wanting to be the type of person that she was and all that. So again, no
Yeah.
slack towards my excellent dad, but
Nope,
just
your dad sucks, Sean.
my
So
dad's
does my dad. No, I'm
dad. If
kidding.
you
My
listen
dad's
to
great.
this, you suck. No, I don't know if my dad knows the word podcast. I think if he said that word to him, he'd be like, but nope.
Fishing?
So kind of the opposite, but just identifying really strongly with my mom and
Huh?
thriving a mom who like thrived very well in those circumstances that maybe would not be conducive to such. But anyway,
Shout out to you know that
shout out to my mom.
um shout out to Paul. You know that you ever listen to um Fly the Concords?
Yeah, I love Fly the Concords. That's what
I
we do
love
in the
Fly the
shadows.
Concords.
Is the
Yes, yeah.
Jermaine? What's his name?
Yeah, Jermaine Clemens,
Yeah.
something like
Yep.
that. Yeah. They got that song about women like it's all, like it's just a song about like if women rule the world and stuff. Like, oh, we need sweet 16s, not M16s. When will the governments realize? Gotta be funky, sexy lady, or something. This is a whole song about if women rule the world, it will be a better place and stuff.
I think my favorite Flight of the Concord side song is "If You're Into It." So that's my
My
favorite.
favorite is definitely think about it. There's a lyric where
Oh,
it's like
that's a great one.
wait, let me just, it's children on the street using guns and knives, killing each other's lives. Wait, there's a part that I really like. Wait, okay. There's children in the street getting diseases from monkeys. That's right. I said they're getting diseases from monkeys. Now there's junkies with monkeys disease. Who's touching these monkeys, please? Leave these poor sick monkeys alone. They got problems enough like it is. Another lyric is, this man, the man is lying on the street. Some punk's chopped off his head. I'm the only one that stops to see if he's dead. Mm, turns out he's dead. That's what I'm saying. Why is wrong with
Oh
the
my god,
world
those are great.
today?
Oh, I love Flight of the Concord.
And then like, can somebody please remove these colories from my knees? And then we'll think. Oh,
I normally
but
don't like I haven't always loved Jermaine and some of the other stuff that he's like been in separate. But I
yeah,
do really like his work in What We Do in the Shadows. If that strikes your fancy, anyone out there, if you've been thinking about
one of
it,
these days I might check it out.
uh, it's one where you basically only need like one episode to see the humor, and you're just
Okay.
gonna be like yay or nay pretty quickly. It's an easy test for sure.
Yeah, okay. All right. So enough of that. Oh,
Pick a
one of my
fight,
favorite
Core loses.
moments.
We're essentially at the Whirlwind, being created
Yeah,
by the kids to save Korra.
yeah.
Whirlwind by the kids
So
in Appa.
so Janora contests Milo and Icky, and before that, I forgot his name. I think his name was Juan, the artist,
The
son
emo
of Suyan.
artist son.
Yeah, emo artist. Like Icky draws this like
He's in the
it's very
conqueror pose,
colorful.
kind of,
No,
or
so
the
wait, so
like the king
Icky drew
portrait.
this like very yeah, but Icky drew this very like colorful picture of her flying with like a dragon and like butterflies and sunshine, like a 10-year-old would normally draw. Not 10, even maybe like a let's
It's a
see,
kid picture. Yeah,
8-year-old. Yeah, it's a kid picture. And he's like, oh, I'm so jealous of it. He's like, it's so radiant and beautiful. I can just feel your energy through it. Well done, Icky. And then he goes to see Milos drawing. It is like this Colombian realistic pose. It is done so well.
it's
And
like a
it's,
conqueror's painting of himself,
yes,
like a portrait in a manner standing upright and like full grown, but he's still
yeah,
got like his baby Boomy Milo face.
yeah.
And it's
And then Juan says to, wait, his name is Juan. Wow, I forget what it is.
I
Anyway,
can't think of
it
what his
says,
name
Art.
is.
Like, I already know what you look like on the outside. I want to know how you look like on the inside.
It's a
Like,
it's a beautiful, amazing painting, and the way that it's animated in the show is incredible. Like if you sent me that picture, like I would put that poster on my wall. Just the poster being
oh my
that
gosh, that'd be
painting that
hilarious.
he painted. That'd be like a fun deep cut too. Even people would be like, "What the
Yeah,
hell?"
that
I'm
would
like,
be. Yeah, what?
that's a great. I might have to do that. We'll make it a quiz show
Mm.
prize, like a 2 foot by 3 foot picture of Boomy's paint or of Milo's painting.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible. But yeah, then they
Um,
escape art class to go save Korra.
yeah. And then they get together and they go down and save Korra and save Opal and save Janora, but they can't save Suyin. And it pretty much ends with very ominously looking at the meteorites and stuff that Suyin keeps.
And then Batar mentioning that he could recreate the work that got blown up
Oh,
in the explosion, but he would need an
yes.
assistant. And then Julie steps in.
Yep.
Julie, you monster! I can't even right now, Julie. I can't
Yeah.
even. Chris,
And then
let's talk
this
about
episode.
ratings. I'll pull up my handy
All
dandy
right,
sheet
ratings.
here.
I'm easy on this one. So audio visuals. I were first. Yeah, 8.5. I thought the fight between Korra and Kuzuvira was really good. Let's see, there was something else in there that was really good for me. I watched the
Explosion?
episode with, yes, that was good. And also sound design. So I watched the episode, speaking of sound design, I watched the episode with my Bluetooth headphones on, which is a lot better at picking up all the little subtle noises and stuff and emphasizing some things more than others. And the music really stood out. So that I might be biased there. Um, my score still would have been an 8.5, but still really good stuff there.
Hmm?
Story an 8.5 as well. I thought it was really good to see Korra, to see that recovery isn't a linear thing, that you take steps up, then one step forward, you take steps back.
It's not a video
You know,
game where
she's
you regenerate in a predetermined ratio toward full health.
yeah, yeah. So I think it's a really good character stuff done there. Um, yeah, really good character stuff done there. Memorable and 8.5. Just the things that are most memorable here are the Varric and Bolin stuff. Just mostly Varric stuff because that exchange between him and Batar Jr. is just so funny. Like I remember the first time watching this. This is definitely the season where I started to fall in love with the character of Varric. Like season two, like he's a antagonist and he's still funny in everything. Actually, he's funny in a lot of moments now that I think about it.
But it's
But this
different because
season,
you're not supposed to be like cheering for him. He's not
yeah,
supposed to be your
yeah.
favorite character in season two.
Little voices in your head. That was really funny.
she he verricked himself because she's you lead him.
uh, yeah, so that gets 8.5 also. So straight 8.5s.
I don't know why I felt like I was a little. I don't know if I was grumpy or what. I felt like I shorted everything a little bit, but we were pretty close. I did an 8 on audiovisual. I think maybe the fights in this one and the last one are so short lived that I probably didn't give them enough credit, maybe, but it's okay. I mean, 8 is still really good.
Yeah.
Story, 8. I would say I don't love like that the assassination was attempted. Like it was kind of a sorry attempt. They should have
Mm,
known better. Um, I
they probably should have known better.
They probably should have known better. Like Kuvira, not just gonna. No. Anyway, little. So just enough nitpicks to say, you know what? It's not amazing, but it's really good. So 8, and then memorable. I did go a 9, because the act of Korra losing is so memorable, and against another very emotional episode. And then I'm always probably gonna biased. I'm not proud of it, but biased. Give extra points where there's heavy Varric. Honestly, that's usually going to be a pro Shawn, or a pro in my book. So put me at an 8.3, which rounds to a nice solid 8.4, which feels right
Yeah,
relative to the previous episode. That's a nice, appropriate
I
stair
think
step.
so. The interesting thing is that for some reason these episodes, probably I think the previous episode was Korra alone. No, it wasn't Korra alone, but I love the previous episode. Um, and this is always kind of just like the middle part to me. Like this, it's the glue that's sticking
These
the
two episodes in particular are
yeah,
the middle part. That's like the getting to the conflict part.
yeah.
We've
But I
broken
was surprised how
the
much.
bat's back.
Yes, that's true. But I was surprised how much I really enjoyed these two episodes. I thought I might be a little more down in these episodes. I mean, I don't love them as much as I love the previous ones, but well, the previous one, and then the Korra Alone episode. Wow, man, Korra Alone's rate is so high, but should be love that episode. Um, but I was really pleasantly surprised how much I liked these two episodes. Liked them a lot more than I remembered.
I don't know if I had a preconceived notion. I will say it's been a few months. I rewatched him today, because it had been a few months.
Hmm.
And the past 2 seasons, this has happened a lot. But like when I start watching and then I don't catch myself and I just keep rolling through to the next episode.
Yeah.
But these two did like piece together. It's not that I was anxious to shut it off or anything, but they close a very specific arc, and that it was
Yes.
like
Yep.
clearly done, and I turned it off. And so that's not good or bad, but just a unique thing about this pair. Also, I was watching them on Daily Motion, so because I was too lazy
Uh,
to like.
who uses Daily Motion name? I remember when Daily Motion was like fighting with YouTube for like video streaming supremacy
Hear me
because Daily
out.
Motion would let you watch more than 10 minutes, let you make more than 10-minute videos.
I don't have all my passwords and stuff put in for all of the standard
Ah,
services
okay.
and whatnot. I was feeling really lazy. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna Google it. And Dailymotion has them, but they're like zero point 0.9 speed, right? So that it can't
Yes,
get
there
picked
they
up by
are.
the algorithms or whatever. And so they're
Yeah.
slightly zoomed in, and so everybody has lower voices because it's slower. And this is also my Holt impression. Uh, Sorry, no, that's my
I'm
impression of Peralta impersonating Holt. Is
yeah.
actually where it's like,
I'm proud of you, Jake.
oh
That's
yeah,
something
that's
I always
good.
remember.
But anyway, all their voices were lower, and that actually did kind of make it funny. You notice, you know something's wrong. You can tell right away. It's pretty entertaining for a while until it gets to the music, and the slower music, like
Ah,
it like kills
yeah.
you. Like your inner self is like, this is why is it this way? But fun story. Daily Motion. You can watch Avatar at zero point 0.9 speed if you want. Funnily enough, the 10% of the time I spent watching, I could have gone and found the Netflix password, or the 10% of time I
I
lost.
always I always go to I usually would go to Dailymotion if I need to find a clip to use in a video. I'm surprised Dailymotion's still around. Like
And
you
to
can, they,
video hosting video is not cheap. Like you don't YouTube operates at a loss.
do that. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but if I don't know what Dailymotion's doing to
Well,
make
no
enough
wonder
money
why
to
Google was able to buy them.
yeah. Uh, but whatever you're doing, Dailymotion, I guess keep it up. I suppose.
How does
And
YouTube operate? Yeah, okay.
yeah, as like
Yes, they
YouTube
got
as
so
its
many
own entity,
ads.
absolutely. But because it
Okay.
operates so well with, I mean, owned by Google, and then paired with Chrome, it drives so much of the
Mm,
sponsorship and advertising that
okay.
obviously it's still beneficial in the big picture. But
Is is YouTube technically the number one search engine, or is that still Google?
oh,
I
you
hear it's
mean
like
as
number.
far as
It's at least.
individual searches? I would venture to say that's still Google
I think
just
it's.
because of the attachment to Chrome. That is just my best
Yeah,
guess.
it might be number two, which
I,
is still
that's
a
huge.
lot
Yeah.
to be like this one company has number one and number two search engine.
Yeah, that would be insane
Like,
by itself. But like I said, I think
it's really high. I know that.
because of the attachment to Chrome, which is incredible if you think about it. Like everybody uses Chrome, and Chrome, like in the '90s, we had to pay. I say we, like I had the internet. I didn't have the internet. You had to pay for a browser app, right? And then Explorer gets packaged in. Explorer's crap, and everybody knows it. And then Google comes along and is like, we got this like real fancy app that's like really good and fast, and
I feel
everybody's
like it
gonna
was
love it.
first. I feel like Firefox was first though, right?
Firefox was before, and it was open source,
Yeah.
which is typically a good thing, but also does lead to like it's never going to get kind of financially propped up for big
Mm,
upgrades or anything. It's open source. It is what it is. Opera is a big one. Safari for you Apple people, but like Google being the website, owning a browser rather than just a company making a browser. That was huge, and then obviously it drives
yeah.
a lot of advertising revenue and things in its own right through Google
There's a lot of
searches.
companies, a lot of companies that own a lot of stuff.
A lot of, I think a few companies own a lot of stuff.
Sorry,
Actually,
yeah. There's about 10 companies that owns
that
90% of
own
everything
most
in the
of the
world.
things when you look around your room right now, especially you and me, Chris, when we look around our rooms.
Yeah.
Nintendo owns mine, and Disney owns yours.
No, Disney. Nah.
Nickelodeon plus Disney,
Warner,
or Paramount? I guess it's
Warner,
Paramount plus Disney.
uh,
Oh, you know
whatever,
what?
Warner Discovery.
Okay, that's fair.
That's their new name since they merged with Discovery. And then now everyone's merging and
Yeah.
stuff. It's just, yeah.
I used to think that I was not a Nintendo fanboy. I used to think I was pretty even keel, and I mean, you know me well enough to know I'm like pro PlayStation. But when I look around this room right now, I was like, yeah, this is a Nintendo house, not for better or worse. And Warner, hey, Warner owns a lot of Harry Potter rights, so they may not own the properties themselves, but like lots of toy and movie rights. So yeah, pretty
Yeah.
big Warner
I
house
was just
here as well.
I was just looking at something. Sorry, this is the end of the video where we're done talking Avatar
I
and
hope
ranting
everybody
about
like
stuff.
turned it off by now. Honestly, I hope that they're just like, okay, I'm done.
This is sorry. But Microsoft, bought a bunch of these gaming uh developers and stuff.
Mhm.
And Microsoft is like way bigger than you think. Like way bigger than Sony and also way bigger than Nintendo is. And so because they
Yes.
own all these companies, they can now eventually they'll be able to control the price and like they'll do it through subscription services, right? It's like $10 or $20 a month, which they'll be operating at a loss, but they can overcome that because Microsoft builds chips and computers, and they also have internet, and they also have uh, Internet Explorer. They also have a search engine. They also have all the Microsoft Office stuff. Like they are like probably I think 100 times bigger than those other two.
I
And so it can lead to some potential issues
Chris,
potentially down the line.
think about this even of you said streaming service, so think about Game Pass Ultimate. I think you're a PlayStation guy. I'm usually PlayStation, but I do have an Xbox One because somebody gave it to me essentially. But Game Pass Ultimate is already kind of the one streaming service as far as games as a streaming service that really does a good job of facilitating gaming for like a household. Like if you wanted to have games in your house, but you're not trying to like cater just to adults or just to hardcore fans or whatever you want, like simple, effective, it does the best job, and I think that's pretty hands down, even if Xbox isn't always winning the races. And so you figure like this is already a pretty good service. Even if they don't make these games exclusive to Xbox consoles yet or for years, but like they start pulling these
Mhm.
big, more and more of these big titles into Game Pass, and just naturally going to be like, okay, well, should I go buy the $60 game on the
Exactly.
PlayStation
Yeah.
5, or do I get the Xbox Series X and just buy Game Pass Ultimate for, I don't know, it's like $20 a month, and there's always deals on it and stuff. Like
Yeah.
there's a ton of good games on there right now. You start pulling in these other things, even if it's not exclusive, like that's gonna
No, it's
gonna sway
gonna.
a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also like right now I can't play Game Pass games from the Xbox on my PC, but there is some compatibility. Like I can stream Xbox to PC to play on my PC. There's Xbox Play
Mhm.
Anywhere, which is a selection of titles that if you own them on one, you can play it on the other, a smaller selection. Or I can even stream, like to my Shield. I can use my Shield and remote play my PC games. And all that stems from Microsoft being, as you mentioned, 10 times as bigger than those other companies.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Video
The
games.
thing is that
Shawn and
like
Chris.
Sony, like Nintendo, of their, if you're just looking at video games, I'm pretty sure Nintendo's the only one that actually turns a profit on their video games
Jason Tryon
because they're
used to
not
say that
worried.
all the time. Is like, as far as video games as an independent function
That
of a
might be where I got
company,
that from.
only
Maybe I should
Nintendo
trust
really
that.
turns a profit on just video games.
Mhm.
And I would be inclined to believe that to some degree based on their hardware
I
costs.
would too. Um,
They don't
but
sell
dang
their
it,
hardware
now
at a
that you mentioned
loss.
that Jason Tron said that, now I'm thinking that it's just something he heard.
Possibly, yeah.
And
And that was during the Wii U era when we were hearing
I
that,
mean,
but I think that's what made it impressive.
yeah. I mean, not saying that Jason Tron is Jason Tron's a smart
No,
guy.
but just
Been for years.
different
Um,
different sources than us for
but yeah,
sure.
but if I heard it from the same place, and you heard it from the same place.
But no, I think Nintendo will always, as long as they march to the beat of their own drum, they're probably going to have their
Yeah,
own audience, like
they were
me,
good.
right? That I
They were good to divulge and just like they're doing that stuff. We're going this area in this way,
they'll always capture the
and we.
Shawns that like I want to pay a little less for less hardware, but like this the same set of games that I love and know, and then it's always more convenient on Nintendo. There's a playable
Yeah,
version of a Switch game on every cart, right? So I don't have to pop in a disc and download. You do, but you can play right away. Like Switch being portable, like that's all pure Nintendo stuff. Where if they just march to the beat of their own drum, they'll probably get to survive for as long as they want, I would imagine. But the whole Xbox Sony thing, that could be pretty entertaining because because
although I'm more of a Sony person. Not that I'm like a Sony loyalist. It's just
yeah,
I had an Xbox 360. Like all my games were third-party games, Like there was nothing on there that was like, I don't really. I just rather have it. Like PlayStation to me has the best of those two. Have the better. Actually, I think of all the systems have the best first party games. Like when it comes to the Switch, I'm just like, all right, just give me Smash Bros. And Zelda. That's what they got for me.
Mm. I would tend to agree. I think I really do believe that as far as game streaming as a service or games as a service, that Game Pass Ultimate is pretty well like a solid head above your other options in terms of like it could work for anybody in your family, for your whole household, for the average family that wants to buy a console and just a service and not worry about games and such. Uh,
Yeah.
I think that's probably Game Pass, and I don't know what PS5 versus Xbox Series One or Xbox Series X is. I don't know what that's at like sales wise. Neither of them has a lot of hardware to compete at the moment. But I don't know. I
You
feel like it
don't,
could
which
be a
is
close
weird.
race.
Stupid.
Yeah. Um,
Also, I don't. Well, honestly, I don't see the point. Sorry for delaying. The point in upgrading to the next gen right now.
I
Like I
always wait
saw
to upgrade.
comparisons for graphics of the PS4. Uh, Horizon Zero Dawn sequel just came out today.
Yeah.
You know, PS4, PS5, and I'm like,
Forbidden West.
I can tell that Forbidden West looks better, but it doesn't look that much better that I should buy a PS5. I'll probably just wait until the games are exclusive to PS5.
Yeah, I'm never an early adopter. Even the Switch was the earliest I ever adopted anything. Now it's still like
Yeah.
eight 8 months after launch. Like it was well beyond launch lineup at that point and already being successful before I pulled the trigger. And that was easily the fastest I have ever got to a console. So
I bought a PS4 pretty much the within the month, I think. Maybe within 3 months because I knew the next Batman Arkham game was going to come out. So I was like, well, I know the price isn't going to go down by that point. I know I'm going to buy that console then, so I might as well buy it now.
yeah, just as well get a jump on it. I agree.
Yeah.
I hope that right now, I hope that the Nintendo Switch, I really hope their next one is like a new 3DS to the 3DS thing, where it,
Well, we'll probably suck because they go every other one.
well, and it,
Although
it
I disagree about the GameCube though.
yeah, I would say that the N64 and the GameCube are kind of similar-ish in my mind, and we can, fans, we can have that argument offline, but I hope the next Switch is just a slight upgrade over the existing Switch, but that it's fully backwards compatible, because that will allow the existing Switch to like keep being supported forever. Because I
No.
love the Nintendo Switch. It is my favorite.
I have you not had I have a love-hate relationship with Nintendo Switch. I feel like
I love it.
every one of my controllers suck.
No, I've got two good ones and
They,
two bad ones. I've got the two originals and then two that came later, and there's a clear and obvious difference.
there's something wrong with both of mine. Well, the so on these ones, the grip on the control stick keeps coming off, and the other ones it has drift. And then the console for some reason isn't recognizing when when you try to play portable, it's not, and you snap them in, doesn't recognize I snapped it in, and so I can't play like handheld.
No kidding. So like, yeah,
Yeah,
so hardware durability possibly being a concern there. That's fair.
that's the biggest issue.
No, that's totally fair. And I did the upgrade at one point where like the newer battery life, not the OLED, but before that one was just, hey, this one has more battery life.
Oh, okay.
And so mine is technically newer, so maybe I've just not run into those yet. But nope,
Mm,
Nintendo Switch, Sean's favorite console of all time. And I do have a few of them. I feel like a relatively credible source in that regard. But I said favorite, not best. I specified very intentionally. But anyway,
yeah.
uh, it's good. Guess how many games I have? Wait, did I say it on my post the other day? I probably said it. It's probably not fun. Uh, Never mind, viewers. Don't guess how many games I have. Hey, Chris, I'm tired. Let's go to bed.
I have to. Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. We really appreciate you. I'm going to see if I can even locate. I can't even find my mouse. I'm all over the place with this new computer. Here we go. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.